Here's a note to Bernie Sanders supporters from Robert Reich from his Facebook page. Reich wrote, posted it Sunday, I'm getting lots of emails and notes on this page from those of you who say you're feeling discouraged given the diminishing likelihood of Bernie's nomination. And from others of you who ask me what you should do in the event he doesn't get the nomination. To both, I have these 3 suggestions. 1, first, continue to work hard to increase Bernie's chance of success. Despite what you hear in the media, he still does have a chance. California's June 7th primary will be critical. Second, if Bernie doesn't win the nomination, you have to decide for yourself how active you'll be in supporting Hillary Clinton. If Trump is the Republican nominee, my personal view is Hillary's election to the presidency is absolutely essential to the future of this nation and the world. And 3, finally, and regardless of the outcome of the 2016 election, remember that you're part of a long-term movement to reclaim our democracy and economy from the moneyed interests that now have a chokehold on both. No movement to change the allocation of power in America can succeed in a single presidential election. It will take time and effort. Continue to join with others in your city and your state and across America and get involved in elections at all levels, including the presidential election of 2020. Do not succumb to cynicism. Do not give up. Never stop fighting. What do you think? Now, Robert Reich is being a realist with number 2. If Trump is the Republican nominee, my personal view is Hillary's election to the presidency is absolutely essential to the future of this nation and the world. But the other 2, or the third one especially, this is what I used to scream and pound the table especially back in the election in 2000 when Ralph Nader decided to make a run for the presidency just out of the blue, no political organization, no base of power. You know, at least Sanders has a base. I mean, he's a senator, for Christ's sake. And I can remember screaming and yelling, why is Nader coming out now? I would have voted for him. I would have voted for a Ralph Nader presidency in half a heartbeat. But when somebody jumps in at the last minute and says, hi, I'm going to be the president, after the guy you've been supporting, Al Gore, has busted his ass and put up with Bill Clinton for 8 years. Now, I'm not making a brief for Al Gore. I mean, his environmental work, bless his heart. But Al Gore was another one of the Democratic Leadership Council, the DLC, that came up with the idea of fuck the working class, along with the Clintons and Sam Nunn here in Georgia and a bunch of Southern Democrats, all white, who decided, well, we're sick of losing elections. Let's change from being the party of the working class to the party of the middle class. That was a critical moment. So I'm not defending Al Gore's politics. Certainly. And besides, he invented the internet. What do you want? But I do defend and respect his efforts at letting people know an inconvenient truth, so to speak. But had Nader any kind of a power base, any kind of a legislative base, anything that meant if you voted for Nader, you weren't literally throwing your a vote in the street, which we were. There was no question. Now, I'm not saying that Nader is the reason George Bush fucked over this country for 8 years. That was the Supreme Court. But I always had the question, if Nader was so determined to lead us out of this capitalist corporatist bullshit, why didn't he work in the off years? Why didn't he try to build city council members who felt like him, and public service committee people who felt like him, and utilities commission people, and local state legislators, and then work, and then the House and the Senate, and just build a power base of, by, and for the people. Nader, I guess, just figured he didn't have to do that. Well, so now Ralph Nader is 80-something, and everything that he could have done never got done. So what Reich is talking about here, it's obvious. He's saying, he's not saying this directly, but I can derive this from what he's saying. Don't be a Naderite. Be a Sanders person, and get out there and keep it going. And what he says here, get involved in elections at all levels, including the presidential election of 2020. Don't succumb to cynicism. Do not give up. Never stop fighting. Don't succumb to cynicism. Moi? A cynic?